drinking coffee and checking Twitter comments. Don't we do the research? We are specifically a show with no holds barred for spoilers, because every other show, I think, has at least some kind of spoiler cutoff at some point. So I just decided to be different. Last week, though, because of the Murtaugh reveal, she said, no spoilers, anybody watching it at midnight. I would certainly respect the notion that on Twitter at midnight there should be no spoilers. Maybe they figured nobody's looking, or their references are obscure enough that nobody will get them as spoilers, but there were a few comments.
There is no obscurity whatsoever in our show.
There were some comments last night on Twitter that I would regard as spoilers. And they were about two major things. One, and actually they're kind of related. Like, I woke up, if I had recorded this last night, I wouldn't have thought that they were related decisions to change from the book. Okay, I gotta back up. First of all, I got no patience with people that are just so in love with Jamie that they hate on. There's people that hate on any character he ended up ever having sex with besides Claire. And I think they just kind of hate them on principle.
He's just an American gigolo with a funny accent.
Now, because he's like a noble man and he's supposed to be so perfectly like
he's just like Richard Gere with red hair and a funny accent.
The romantic character. He's supposed to be the perfect romantic man that because...
Just like Richard Gere.
Jamie doesn't want to be a gigolo, but Geneva puts him...
Just like Steve Waz, Segway Smarts.
Geneva blackmails him into coming to be her gigolo because she knows she's going to marry this horrible ancient husband she finds disgusting, and she wants to have sex with someone for the first time that she's actually going to enjoy it and finds the person beautiful. And so she gets him into her bed by blackmailing him, which is pretty cruel. And, I have a feeling a lot of people are going to hate on that scene just because they don't want Jamie to sleep with anyone else. Claire is gone for friggin' 20 years. People don't want to think, even in these days of positivity towards sex, people don't want to think in this romance that, that they want to think 20 years went by and nobody ever had any sex with anybody else unless they were forced to.
I know Stella got her groove on, but you're saying Katrina did not get her groove on? That was a movie reference.
Yes, I know. I think in the book, Frank, possibly you get the sense that he suspected that she might have been having an affair with Joe Abernathy, her doctor colleague, and they were very close friends, but I do not think you're supposed to think that she ever slept with him. I thought the scene with Geneva was beautiful. I mean, not as touching as scenes with the scenes with Mary McNabb. I think some people who didn't want to see it at all will think it went on a little too long. I would say even for me, it went on maybe, I didn't need for it to be that long, but, they wanted everybody to get a real good view of Sam's butt, and they wanted to see him lick a boob, which maybe Katrina doesn't let him, so they might as well get it in with...
Sweetie, where do you stand on both of those things?
I don't think I'm a butt girl. His butt is fine, but that's not like, I don't know. I don't think it's the number one thing I look for when I'm like staring at handsome men. His butt is fine.
There you have it. Sam Heughan gets a C+ on the blood.
No, it's just it is not my thing. It's not.
About American Gigolos.
Well, American Gigolo is a very appropriate reference for last night, actually.
There you have it.
So there you go.
Subtitle for a show.
I can think of 2 reasons. Can you think of both of them? What's the first one?
You belong in my bed.
In my bot? In my bed? Is that what you're trying to say? Is that your British accent? The actress that played Geneva last night, what did I say to you when they started having sex?
Oh, yeah. It said that she had a boobylicious clause in her contract.
Well, licious, yes, because, yes, Sam
Katrina has
licked her boob. Do you think that was a prosthetic?
Katrina has a no boobylicious contract.
Yeah, I said, wait a minute, I don't think Sam ever licked Katrina's breast, so she may have a no breast licking clause in her contract.
But there was your huge Brian De Palma body double homage.
What, is there breast licking in Body Double? Is that your point?
Sweetie, Melanie Griffith is the body double. The whole movie and tiny parts of this episode.
You think a body double got the breast licked, or you think that they could use a body double for Katrina if they want the breast licked?
In fact, actually...
Or maybe someone else was even licking the breast. People are so disturbed by this scene of Jamie having sex with Geneva that I think they were not even looking forward to the episode. And there's legitimate reasons to be worried about how the writers are going to deal with that scene because, as I mentioned to you last night, in the book, I do not think that Diana meant to write it this way. I think people wouldn't read it so closely in the 1990s when she wrote it, and also it is somewhat in the category of a romantic bodice ripper. But it is questionable at the end of the day, even though Geneva blackmails Jamie into having sex with her, it is questionable whether she gives consent at the last minute. And today, we are more aware of that.
In a Harlequin romance.
Just in 2017, there's no other way to read that scene in the book without thinking, whoa, wait a minute, did she give consent? I think maybe at the last minute she didn't. And they just took it out. And I think that is more in the spirit of how Diana Gabaldon intended the scene to go. Yeah, when you leave it in, because then it's part of the text and you have to analyze it. So they took it out. The other big change they made, and I forgot about it until someone mentioned it on Twitter, was in the book when Jamie offers himself to Lord John. I mean, that's how much he cares about having someone to take care of his child. Is he's like, you can have me if you'll just promise me that you're going to take care of Willie. It kind of a little bit reminds me of Mary McNabb now that I think about it, because he has grown so fond of Lord John and cares so much about what's going to happen to Willie that he is willing to do that. Does he want to do that? No, obviously not. But he is willing to give Lord John that gift. If Lord John wants it, of course, he turns it down. But in the book, I forgot that after they have that discussion, Jamie does grab him and kiss him on the lips as sort of a gift, like, well, as a thank you. But also, I mean, he doesn't like give him some deep French kiss, but he kisses him on the lips. And of course, it's a very meaningful gesture to Lord John. He knows it doesn't mean anything more than that, but it's kind of beautiful. And actually just now, when you mentioned like the American Gigolo thing, and I said, oh, maybe there's 2 parallels, because I think they left it out kind of for the same reason, because Jamie wouldn't really be kissing him willingly. He would be offering it, but everyone knows how he feels about that. And what I think they focused on instead was the gesture of them clasping hands. And that was the inciting moment last week, where as soon as, Lord John touched his hand and like rubbed it a little bit, and he was like, I'll kill you, man. And this week it was more like, no, they really like gave a genuinely friendly hand clasp. And I think that the reason they focused on that was the kiss would have been a one-sided gift. But the hand clasp, I think, is something that they have developed genuine friendship. And the hand clasp is something that Jamie freely gives and is a meaningful, affectionate gesture. I thought Sam did a fine job of acting at what it meant to him when he realized that the kid was his and that he had lost 2 children already and now he actually had a child. Jamie had to leave basically because the reason he could not win was this. Even though the child has dark hair, and the child actor playing Willie had dark hair, and that's from the book. So he doesn't have Jamie's red hair, but he looks just like Jamie. And so as the kid gets old enough for people to notice that he looks like Jamie, and that little interchange between the 2 women was something straight from the book. People are making a little joke that the kid looks like him, but he knows that the kid really looks like him. And it's not just going to be a scandal because people will figure out the kid was not the son of Lord Ellesmere. The kid is like, I think it's the 9th Earl of Ellesmere or something, because since the court ruled that he died by misadventure, nothing came out about him challenging the parentage of the child, and so hence the child comes into the Ellesmere fortune. Well, in revealing himself as the father of the child,
takes a lot of lotto tickets.
He would sort of destroy everything the child has and realizes that he has nothing to offer. I mean, the Highlanders have lost everything. I'm really curious to see what other people think. Just a few people on Twitter seem to be hating on it a little bit, but I don't know if they truly hate the episode or they just hate this part of the book so much because they don't like what Geneva did that they just weren't going to like it no matter what.
I double breasts.
I'll tell you one thing. If they put out a casting call for someone to stand in to have their breasts licked by Sam Heughan, I don't think they'd have to pay them.